I first came to Islay about 15 years ago. Already it was famous for producing magnificent malts, Lafroig, Lagavulin, Bumor, names worshipped by whisky connoisseurs. But Ardbeg, the rarest and finest of them all, remained the undiscovered jewel. Back then, the distillery had just been closed, plunged into a sad and unnatural silence, so I drove to Port Ellen and headed for the nearest bar. Inside, I found all 8 Islay malts to savour, which I did, side by side and at length. The salty Bunnahabhain, oily Kalila, the malty Port Ellen, the intense Lagavulin, the smoky Lafroig, the medium peated Bumor, the gentle Bruichladdich, and at last, Ardbeg. Wow! I discovered the finest whisky in the world. Islay is perhaps the most haunting of all the Scottish islands. Its special mystique owes much to the Celts, who settled on these Hebridean shores over 1,000 years ago, bringing with them their culture and religion. From Ardbeg, a bumpy track leads to Kildalton and Scotland's only surviving high cross. Islay is engulfed in history. At nearby Lagavulin stands the ruined castle of the Lord of the Isles, while in more recent times this craggy coastline has been the haunt of smugglers. Today this sense of history and mysticism lives on in the island's whisky. Indeed, no other whisky on earth so perfectly captures the spirit of the land from which it comes. The secret lies in peat, that ancient compacted moss which covers so much of the island. Masses of it are used to fire the kilns, which help slowly dry the malted barley, imparting a smoky flavour unique to Islay whiskies. Peat even nourishes the water supply. This stream, which feeds the Ardbeg distillery, flows across miles of peat bog, absorbing a deep, earthy character along the way. Yet the pungent smokiness, which has made Islay whiskies justly famous, has also proved the downfall of some of the island's finest distilleries. Distillers need only small amounts to enrich their blends. The Port Ellen distillery has already been closed for good. Unbelievably, even the great Ardbeg was threatened. For 8 long years, the distillery stood silent. Regarded by its then owners as a blending whisky alone, it was seen as surplus to requirements. When I first came here in the early 80s, it was still freshly painted. There was a haunting beauty which clung to the place like the brine of the sea and the smoke of the spirit. Time, though, has taken its toll. I campaigned long and hard for it to be reopened, and it was for a time, but the reprieve was short-lived. By 1996, Ardbeg was for sale and silent once more. Then in 1997, my prayers were answered. Ardbeg was born again. It was bought by one of the most respected names in Scotch whisky, Glenmorangie, who immediately set about a programme to restore it to its former glory. In the hands of this proudly Scottish company, it seems that Ardbeg will be cherished once again. Who knows? One day, even these great floor maltings may be revived. Already, Ardbeg is coming back to life. Whiskey is being produced once more. The glorious spirit still is back on stream, producing the distinctive malt-sweet, peaty dry spirit, which is the very lifeblood, literally the essence of Ardbeg whisky. And here it is, the clear spirit running from the ancient stills of Ardbeg, something I feared would never be seen again. And it's just as wonderful as it was. No longer are barrels just being taken from the warehouse, new ones are being put back in. The spirit they contain full of peaty promise, the smokiest all Islay, indeed the world, has to offer. And there's more great news for whisky lovers. 2 new Ardbegs. The first is a 17-year-old. And this is a really unusual Ardbeg because there's fruit. In this case, tangy orange. And although the peat is there, it's really subtle and soft. And the barley, of course, as with all Ardbegs, just melts through. Ah, and the softness is magnificent. It's got that delicacy that you expect from Ardbeg. There's a sweetness here that is only Ardbeg, and the longer it's in the palate, the more the peat comes through, but it never overwhelms. It's just glorious. But if you want something bigger, more Ardbeg, the 78, because the nose is absolutely enormous. Again, the peat is powering through, but it doesn't overwhelm. That is the secret to Ardbeg. It does not overwhelm. It lets other things come through, especially the barley. Oh. And on the palate, it just flits around the mouth. It fills the mouth. Again, you've got this sea effect. You can taste the brine. You can certainly taste the peat. But the balance is exceptional. And the finish is long, well, almost unfathomable. It just underlines what I've known about this place for the last, 20 years or so. If perfection on the palate exists, then Ardbeg is it.